Okay, we are ready, so I will call this meeting to order. If you will join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much for joining us. You know that I'm wearing a mask today. I don't know if it's allergies or anything, but I don't want to put anyone at risk, so I will be wearing a mask to keep my nearby people safe. Okay, let's move on. The adoption of the agenda. We do have a few amendments. We will be pulling item 4D, and we will be moving item 3E to 3C, reordering the presentations. So the Roberts Family Development Center will go third, and then item 4D will not be done tonight. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
The motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The agenda has been adopted. Okay, moving on to item 2, public communications. This is a chance where members of the public may address the board regarding items within the board's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda at this time. Members wishing to address the board are allotted 2 minutes per speaker. Please note that the speaking time cannot be delegated to another person. Members should indicate the agenda item or topics on which they plan to speak when beginning their comments. And it's important to remember that the board rules of California law prohibit board members from discussing comments or attempting to answer questions posed by a speaker during public comment time. If necessary, the superintendent will request the district staff to follow up with speakers. All members wishing to speak in person or online, we'll have that option too. In person should complete the speaker's card and submit it to the board assistant. That's Ramon up here. To submit a comment online, you can do so via Assembly Gamut meetings and in live chat on YouTube. Board assistant will provide your comments to the board as appropriate. So is there anyone in the room that would like to speak tonight? Okay. That being said, we will give it a minute for our online viewers as they are slightly delayed. I'll wait for you to tell me when. Good. Okay, moving on to reports. Item 2B, reports. Robla Education Foundation.
Nothing new to report at this time.
Thank you. Robla Teachers Association. Classified Student Employees Association, CSEA. Okay, Superintendent's report.
Good evening. I have a couple of things to share. Last week had a wonderful time at the CASA conference. Robla had a team of 8 principals, administrators, and 2 board members. Thursday, wait, see this? Some of the keynote speakers at the event was Cheryl Brown Henderson, who was the daughter of Oliver Brown, who was one of the plaintiffs in the Brown versus Board of Education, so that was exciting. Individuals really prominent in education, Linda Darling Hammond, Dr. Pedro Noguero, Tyrone Howard, and many, many more. So it was a wonderful, inspiring, rejuvenating week. Thursday at the conference, our PLN that Robla is a participant of, we presented at a session, and I want to give a shout out to Michelle Chris, principal at Taylor, and Cindy Lyon, director of state and federal programs. They did a great job sharing the work that we're doing with Robla, and I was excited. There was a breakout session. We were the only elementary school district who's part of this PLN, and we had a table full of people really interested in the work that we're doing. So that was exciting. Everyone else was secondary. I stayed one additional day at the conference to participate in the Women's Unity Leadership Forum. So it was another day and a half focused on more sessions and how to support women in educational leadership. So that was exciting. Monday, this past Monday, was our first LCAP community engagement meeting facilitated by Cindy Lyon and Mr. Raven. He doesn't like to get acknowledged, but he was there. And today, I was a co-presenter on a webinar for PCY, which is for Parents for Child and Youth. We focused on providing summer programs in the district, focusing on early learners and how we leverage ELOP funds. The end of my report.
Okay. Moving on to board member reports. Trustee Devine.
I was also fortunate enough to attend the CASA conference last week. I attended many sessions. I heard some great ideas. It's very inspiring, and I am looking forward to some of the things that we learned as a group to be implemented in our district, so that way our students can be lifted up.
Thank you. Trustee Devine.
I don't have nothing to report at this moment. Thank you.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Nothing to report at this time.
Okay, and I attended the CASA report, and thank you for giving such detailed information. I will be sharing my notes eventually. I'm waiting for the CASA group to come up with to give the slide decks, and they said that they will be coming soon, hopefully by the end of this week. But okay, and then I'll put together all my notes and the slide decks and everything like that. But it was an incredible conference. I found it to be very useful. It was a great combination of things that board members could take home and use, but also administrators and other officials in the district. So it was a really good conference, one of the most useful that I've ever attended. And it also reaffirmed that we're doing a lot of things right. And that we're moving in the right direction, but still have a lot of improvement. And I'll give you a couple of examples of that. I found out, unfortunately, that, well, we know things like suspension rates for African American students or darker skinned students are much higher than other ethnicities. I did not know that that extends all the way down to preschool. That shocked me. And of course, everyone in the room asked, "Why on earth are you suspending or expelling preschoolers?" And they said, "Well, we can't have students biting, kicking, or fighting." And our first question was, "Well, what preschoolers don't do that?" Everyone does that. So why are you only suspending African American students? So those are the kind of things that we found in the conference, but they're also the kind of things that we know here in Robla we would not put up with. And that's from the top down, from the bottom up. No matter how you look at it, we wouldn't put up with it. If a board member sees it, they're going to question it. If a parent sees it, they're going to question it. If a teacher sees it or an administrator sees it, they're going to question it. Well, hopefully not administrator, but you get my drift. So things like that. That's one nugget that I took home. The other nugget that I took home was we had a really good presentation. We had several presentations on being college ready, going through the A through G admissions requirements. And even though they mostly focus on what students are doing in high school and how much they're ready, it really begins in the primary grades. We have to get it right here. If we don't get it right, they're not going to catch up. The numbers say it, they're not going to catch up in high school. So it is so important what we do here. So those are the kinds of nuggets that we took home. It was such a great conference. So thank you very much for recommending it. Thank you to everyone who was able to participate. And hopefully next year we'll have an even bigger group going down.
I'm going.
All right. Moving on to section 3, presentations. The very first one, the facilities update.
Good evening, everybody. We also, or a team CFW also had the pleasure of joining some of you down at CASA.
That's right. Congrats.
Again, we did a workshop on trying to use TK preschool and the kindergarten grant program as a way to establish equity in the way that we approach facilities and making sure that we look at the educational program for when we are building these things. Because as the district has benefited from previously, we're currently going through the largest influx of government spending on preschool, TK, and K facilities in the state for some time. And in the case of the preschool, it's the first time in a long time. And that's what's been able to enable us to do so many things here in the district, which we'll talk about as well. I'll be going through the facilities update, and just chat a slight little update as well on the state aid of where we are in terms of our outstanding applications. But otherwise, hopefully we have some decent news to share with you, in addition to some updates with the preschool project. So we did finally receive DSA approval last Friday, March 15th. As you can imagine, we were trying to get the Division State Architect and the local fire agency to sign off on the overall design. As the board has been aware in the past, we've been working with the local fire agency on making sure that we provide the adequate fire protection that they wanted for that building. Originally, as the building was placed, it was thought that it would be adequate to have hydrants be able to reach. The local fire agency then opined that they wanted to see a local water source providing for the fire protection. As such, they have required us by their specification to place a fire water booster pump to the site. This requires us to take in a connection from the street onto our site, as well as electrical, putting together all that into an actual physical water pump, which then has a connection back into the building. And then we also need to connect that to the fire system so that if the fire alarm does go off, the water sprinklers kick in and they're able to push that over there. In addition to that, they're also going to require us to house that in a pump house. So not only do we have to provide all the equipment, but we have to house that in an interior space. As you can imagine, anytime you look, or anytime you connect into the city, there's a cost to that, and the equipment that is specialized for this is also has a cost as well. So based on the specifications that provided to us by the local fire agency and DSA, they provided us specifications. It was engineered to those specifications, and when we went out to get an initial cost estimate for that, that cost just for the construction of those facilities came out to about $600,000. And so what we've done is gone back and we're looking at the overall scope of that project in terms of that pump house and how we can affect our project to make sure that we're able to proceed with it. The district has asked us to take a step back and to look at the overall bids that we received for the scope of projects. And that's why we've removed that item this evening, so that we're able to have that examination and look at sources of funding to bridge that gap. And then secondarily, to make sure that we are able to align all of our scopes to make sure that we have the adequate cost going forward for that particular project. As the board may be aware, and we've talked about as well, is that that particular project is primarily funded from the preschool TKK facilities grant program. So those dollars are coming back to the district directly from the state. That only covers in its totality about $4.9 million, $4 million which were set aside for the TKK construction of those classrooms, and then, sorry, the preschool and TK classrooms, and then another $1 million that was a reimbursement for the kindergarten classrooms we had already constructed over at Bell Avenue. So the total grant amount available is the 4.9. We originally had budgeted for the $4 million and to use $900,000 for other capital improvements throughout the district. So we're just evaluating at this point in time how we can cover that particular shortfall. In addition to that, there is a preschool admin facility that is part of this project. It was the board's direction that we would provide, or the district would be providing additional funds outside of that grant program to fund that. That's still within the scope of the project, but it's outside that particular grant and use. So we will be coming back to the board with those costs and those adjustments as we go forward. In other areas, we will be commencing architect interviews for our project over at Main Avenue, a similar TKK preschool project, as well as the cafeteria and central kitchen. That will occur on the first week of April. The other thing that's popped up recently is OPSC audits and closeout. So the board and the public may be aware and may be used to the idea of DSA closeout and the projects. Whenever you receive state funding, you also have to do OPSC, Office of Public School Construction closeout as well. And so that is a process that has been historically conducted by the state. They have changed policies where they now direct that particular audit through your local auditors. So whereas the state used to have its own team of auditors, they'd come through, you submit all your information, they check it out. What they've done is they've outsourced that to all your local auditors going forward. And so we have been working with Mr. Castillo on providing the necessary expenditure reports for that as we go forward, and making sure that we're able to certify those previously completed projects. Just to give you an idea of where the state is at in that particular process, they're currently closing out the initial phase of construction at Main Avenue. Not the two-story classroom building that we're all familiar with, but the original reconstruction of the 7 classrooms, the admin, and the NPR. So just to give you an idea of some of the things that they're looking at and some of the backlog that they're working through. Obviously, we're trying to be more timely with them as we get closer to this project. One of the challenges that we have with that particular closeout, which I want to be very frank about, is that most of the district staff and CFW were not party to that particular project. And so Mr. Castillo has bravely gone into the archives and pulled out the binders of paper to help bring those forth. But that is a process that we believe will take some time, and we continue to work through with them on that. In terms of the state aid applications that are out there, as the board is aware, we have currently 3 modernization applications waiting funding from the state. School facilities program that is outside and apart from the preschool TKK funding, that is for Main Avenue and for Bell Avenue. And those are for the completed projects at Bell, and that's the modernization of the existing classroom wings. Robla Elementary, so in that particular case, what we did was a like-for-like replacement. We took the old facilities, we used the modernization money to help fund new construction that you see across the street. And then over at Glenwood, that was a modernization, as Glenwood was one of our newest schools at that time. The other recent development, which is I think the good news for the district, is that recent residential development has resulted in an increase in new construction eligibility. So we had talked 2 meetings ago about the Panhandle development starting to rumble again, starting to come up, and I know that they've approached the district previously about whether or not we still have interest in a 10-acre site over there. But really, what's more of an immediate impact to the district is as they finalize those particular tentative maps and they start doing the development out there, that starts to spin into the calculations for new construction eligibility. As the district as you may recall, each time that we've done a project in Robla, we've submitted 2 applications. We submitted an application for modernization, and that's based on the enrollment at the site, as well as the age of the facilities. So any portable classroom that's over the age of 20 is eligible, and any permanent facility or any permanent classroom over the age of 25 is eligible. And we were able to utilize those dollars at our various sites. The other thing we had done was submit a new construction application. And what new construction grants do is they help districts mitigate the impact of new development in the area. And so as Robla grew, your eligibility increases as those new residential units are built. And the idea behind that is that to provide the district with its necessary resources in order to house those additional students in permanent facilities. You can house them in portables, that's allowed, but what they really want you to see is doing that going forward. And I just, for terms of background for the board, to kind of give you an idea of just the impact of what we are seeing in Robla. Oops, there we go. Right now, we're seeing approximately 1,900 units that are coming in line in this particular area, of which about 1,765 are within the Robla School District. So we're seeing a tremendous amount of growth. The primary indicators of growth is the Panhandle itself. Now remember that in the Panhandle, there is 2 portions of that. One portion is in the Robla School District, and the northern portion is over in Natomas. And so we're seeing a tremendous amount of growth on that particular side. The other one is Robla Estates, which is another 177 single-family units that will be going in really soon. What's important about new construction eligibility when it pertains to new residential development is the state is willing to give you that eligibility and grants before the kids ever show up. So you don't need to demonstrate that their kids are actually coming from these developments in a direct correlation. They're saying that eventually these kids will be generated and they will come forward to us. So it's important to understand that right now with this particular development coming forward, that the state is willing to give the district money upfront to upfront some of those costs. Traditionally, that's been used for either to build additional facilities for those students or to modify existing facilities in order to accommodate the additional enrollment that we may have at those sites. And so in terms of the overall impact on budget, Right now, given the current enrollment and projected fifth-year enrollment and our existing capacity, because remember, we got rid of a lot of our portables to build brand new facilities. Our current capacity is estimated to be about 1,793 students. That's based on state standards. And of that, we believe that given the current 2024 pupil grant amount of about $15,000 per student, that about $16.6 million in new construction eligibility can be generated from those new developments for school facilities in the district, an additional $2.5 million for the overall site development associated with that. That would require a local match. That's a different discussion for a different day. But that's something to understand, that in order to participate, that you would have to go into that process. As I mentioned previously, for every single project, we have submitted an application for new construction and for modernization. We submitted one for Maine when we built it, for Robla, as well as for Bell. At Glenwood, we had no new construction eligibility there. Or sorry, we had no new construction projects outside of the PSTKK. When the application came up for review at Main Avenue, we did not have any new construction eligibility. Our enrollment was declining. All these projects had been placed on hold, and there was no growth in the district. And therefore, we had more capacity than we had students. Similar situation occurred when we went over to Robla. Application came up, and then it moved forward. Lastly, we did submit an application for Bell Avenue. That application has not been reviewed by OPSC. That one is still in the queue. And as opposed to the previous ones that we had the ability to go back and look at that particular application. So that application currently sits, it's about $3.7 million, that's state aid list, and is sitting over at that particular site going forward. At some point, we will not have to remove that, given our new eligibility. And the other thing about that particular, it's a reimbursement, so there will be no match that will be required from that. And so wanted to share that good news with folks. That's that it's money that we never anticipated, given the previous analysis 6 months ago, that we'd be able to receive and go forward with. But yes.
Can you say how much that was again? I can't see it.
I apologize. $3.7 million. $3.7 million. Otherwise, I just want to provide a quick update on where we were on new construction and for state aid eligibility, in addition to our facilities report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
For the pump at the pump house, is
Yes.
there a date that we have to have that installed by? Per
So-
city?
So it's not a date requirement by the city that we're trying to reach. It's the grant amount that the grant from the state is the deadline that we are trying to work towards.
I wasn't sure if we were gonna have to install it and then hopefully get the money back.
So we are required, if we move forward with the project, we're required to build it as a part of the project. We're not allowed to bifurcate the two. They will go hand in hand.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I do have a question. Is there going to be an opportunity to see that that slide that had like where the developments
Yes,
were?
absolutely.
Yeah, that wasn't the presentation that we had. Ours was abbreviated.
We only have 2 pages.
Yeah, this was, it's not the presentation that it was uploaded into, excuse me, Board Docs. So we will have to make copies of that and make it available to you.
I'll make sure to email it to Ramon and to the board, so that you make sure you have the right copy for that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we will have a facilities workshop in the future.
Okay. And before we move on, I realized that for Ramon, I forgot to do the roll call. So let the record show that all board members are present and accounted for, with the exception of Trustee DeLuce. Sorry, did you get that? Okay. Moving on to our second presentation, Transportation Maintenance and Operations Update with Patty Brown and company.
Good evening, President Barnes, Superintendent Chen, board members, and everybody who is present here or online. We will present today maintenance and operations and transportations around the business sides of the house. So we will present as a team. And the purpose we are here tonight is to answer two board questions. One is what happened with the custodian training. That was one question that was brought up at the public meeting. And the other one is provide an update regarding transportation and specifically related to the electric buses. So, Mr. Mark, you will be first.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. So in the past, in 2016, we hired Mr. Zurich to do an intense 2-day training on team cleaning our facilities during the summertime. This was very great. We divided the teams onto floor cleaning and then what we consider walls and ceilings. This allowed each individual to specifically train on one specific task. So there wasn't no multitasking to do good in one area and not so good in another. And as we worked in a team, we was able to finish the school site all together. Typically, it would take about 7 to 8 days to do one site completely. The great thing about this this concept was it allowed us not to have as much equipment, specialized equipment like carpet cleaners and stuff like that, that we would have to have at all sites. We could bring them all together and utilize that, so it was a cost savings. Plus, there was a huge potential in savings with running our lights and air HVAC system, because we're only running it for that week at that one site instead of having all sites using the lights and the AC. So there was a major saving potential there in this, using this technique. So what happened? So we used this system up until the summer of 2019 due to multiple summer programs that we had to support. It wasn't advantageous to have a team cleaning and then still have multiple sites to be having to be there and man. Then in 2020, COVID came about, which again didn't allow us to do team cleaning. At that time, we kept people separated from each other, and we concentrated on the two custodians to clean their sites, even though there was no one there most of the time. But there was teachers that would come on campus from time to time to do their study programs with their students. So since then, due to construction and other summer programs, we have never been able to bring this concept back in practice that we learned so much about. And there was some really good there was really some really good techniques that allowed us to do a better job with the team cleaning. So what are we doing now? So we actually hired a consultant to do a audit to look at our cleaning services, and he actually started today, and he will do his audit today through tomorrow. He's going to look at our cleaning staff. He's going to do random interviews with teachers and staff. He's going to look at our facilities, the tools that we're using, and with that, he's going to prepare a report to summarize his findings and recommendations so as to do what we can do better with what we have. So what we're doing now, right now we're getting ready to do a semi-deep cleaning at all school sites. Plus we're getting ready to support the START programs at Maine and Glenwood for the 2 weeks that's over there. I believe we have pretty close to about 100 kids at each site that's going to be participating in that over the next 2 weeks. And last of all, after 21 years, Mr. Ray Abel decided to retire this last February. He was the day custodian at Robla Elementary School, and we just want to take an opportunity right now to say thank you for him in public. So, on that, we definitely going to miss him quite a bit. For more information, you can go to the M&O website and take a look at that. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to Patty Brown, the Director of Transportation.
Thank you. And while you're passing on, thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Please.
Good evening. My name is Patty Brown. I'm the Director of Transportation. And I just wanted to share that I'm really proud of our department. We transport quite a few kids each and every day. And one of the neat things about our department is, in this district, is that we're able to transport a kid from any bus stop throughout the district and get them to any of the schools within the district. So sometimes kids want to go to one school, not their home school, and we're able to accommodate that on the bus. Another neat thing about our department or our district is that we also help out other districts with their transportation. And so we do help out Alberta District, New Hope, and Gateway Community Charters. We have one route for them. This year I've noticed a big change in student behavior on the buses. In previous years we've had lots of bus referrals. This year we're really down quite a bit, and I'm not really sure why, but the only thing I can think of is the support we get from the school sites. When we have a problem with a child, they jump in and they help us get it resolved, and the kid doesn't usually have to lose their bus privileges and things like that. So it's been very helpful to have support from the sites. Most of you may not know that our bus yard is located, well, it's located on the McClellan Park area, and it's about 2 blocks from Bell Avenue School, so it's not very far, still within our school district. And I would just welcome if any of you want to come by and take a look. It's our little hidden little secret over there. I guess I was going to share that we were able to lease that space from a company that does repairs on large vehicles like diesels and things like that. So they lease the space to us, and then in turn we don't have to have a bus mechanic. We just pay them to do our maintenance, and it's very efficient that way. So that's a good thing. And you'll later learn, about our electric buses. The funny thing is, when we bought our electric buses, I didn't realize that Lion Electric, who we purchased them from, became our neighbor. So we actually share a wall with the company that we purchased our buses from. Another part of our responsibilities in transportation are the field trips. And we do a lot of trips. As you can see, this year we're probably going to do over 500 field trips. And what we do, we also help other districts with their trips, and we provide services over the breaks and summers and things like that for all the different programs we have. So our drivers stay really busy. And I just wanted to make a note of all of the experience we have in our department. A lot of these people, I've been here for 28 years, and Walter, he's been here for 30, but that's like a seniority list there. After Walter, we're at 9 years. So most of our staff is new, but have a lot of experience. So I'm very happy about that. And also, since doing this report or preparing the report, we have hired another driver, so we no longer have a vacant position. So can't always say that, but every time I say it, it changes. So I almost jinxed myself. And so you're looking at a picture of a new school bus. It's electric, and it took a long time to have this happen. So I'm glad to say that it has finally happened. We received our three large Lion Electric school buses just last month, and it's been about a 4-year process. So, anyways, I'm happy to say they're there. Uh, I'm also happy to say that since preparing this report, SMUD has come out. They've electrified our chargers, so that's a good update to have. So and also CHP showed up and they inspected our buses, so they're actually road ready and ready to go once we can have our chargers fully working. They need to be calibrated and some other stuff that I get to learn about. But anyways, what I like is that there's progress, and we were able to bring a bus over so you guys could see what they look like. But seriously, anytime you want to come by, if you want to ride, you just let us know. I mentioned earlier that Walter Genther, he's been an employee here at the Robla School District for 30 years, and he has decided to retire in July. So that is a huge thing for us because he also has a lot of experience in this department and a lot of history, but I'm really happy for him. So I guess I will say I'll miss him a little. This is a page from our website. And so, once again, if you have any other, want to look anything up, you can check our website and or just pick up the phone and give me a call. I'm always available. Do you have any questions?
Questions?
For me or Mark?
I wanted to say thank you for bringing one of the new buses out front for us to kind of get to take a look at. It's really exciting, and they still have that new car smell.
Oh, yeah.
And they were really comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the kids enjoy them and treat them with respect and take beautiful care of our beautiful new buses.
Yeah, I hope so too. And the school buses have air conditioning, and yeah. So
Cameras as well.
we have the bus cameras. All of our buses in our fleet have bus cameras, which has been very helpful. But I think most people are excited about the air conditioning in a big bus.
On those hot summer days, your
Yes.
kids may not want to get off of the bus.
And it's not my imagination. They are bigger, right?
Well, they are 6 inches wider, the same length, but 6 inches wider, and they're kind of a little rounded, so they have a different appearance, I guess. Sometimes to me they look shorter, more compact, but they assure me they're the same length as all the other ones. Just a little bit wider, which is nice because the aisle is wider, so kids
And
can get down easier.
and the two that we're shopping for now, can you tell us a little bit about that and
So
what to expect?
when we initially got the grant, we were approved for 5 buses. So we chose 3 big buses, like what you saw today, and 2 smaller buses for our special ed students. And the Lion Electric, at some point, decided they weren't able to make those for us. So I found that out in November, which was not a lot of time. And our funding is still available. And so I've gone out and started getting quotes with other companies to provide the smaller type school bus. So I have some promising quotes. So I think we'll be able to get those purchased soon. And the good thing also with these buses, they don't take 4 years to build. So, and hopefully another pandemic won't happen.
We don't say that out loud.
I know.
Very strong question. You said that the office you guys lease, they are next to the company who provide the maintenance.
Yes.
So that is for the old buses or for the new buses?
For the old buses, and they'll also be able to do our A services, which every 45 days our buses have to be inspected for safety and be certified to get back be on the road. So they can still do those with the electric, and some mechanics or some of the mechanical stuff. But I'm sure the battery-ish, if hopefully there's no issues. But if we have battery issues or things like that, we'll just go to our other next door neighbor on the other side. And already that's proven to be very helpful to have them right there as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please extend our appreciation to Mr. Genther and Mr. Rodriguez.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to just take a moment to share something about this very unique about Robla is that in the transportation we have actually have a training for bus drivers. So they before the vacancies, a lot of districts around us, even though we were small, a lot of districts had to contract out. There were a lot of shortages. Even though we had a vacant, we have like a pie, and we actually able to know about the employees because those are the first persons who students see to see they will work in our district. Something that we want to continue, and we are able even to provide the services that we charge the other districts, other charters. We get paid for it. I just want to make sure so it's not for free. So we get it's a revenue generator for us, and we also create an employment for employees.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Expanded learning program from the Roberts Family Development Center.
Good evening. Darrell Roberts, CEO of Roberts Fan Development Center. I will take just the introduction part of our presentation. Want to thank you all very much for inviting us, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, superintendent. Moon, we appreciate you all for your work. I want to thank publicly both the maintenance staff and the transportation staff because they work closely with the Roberts Fan Development Center over the last 8 years, providing services, support to us as we provide services to Robla students. I also want to acknowledge that the recent retiree who is at Robla, and I'm forgetting his name right this second just because I'm forgetting. Abel has been a support from day one. He has been a personal support. So I take a little exception to realize he retired and I didn't get invitation to the party. We'll offer as a second follow-up a party in his honor whenever you want to do it after school. We'll provide the music. I know what he likes, and I know the group that he always likes to hear. We do Latin Heritage dinners, and would love to thank him because they're the unsung heroes to me in terms of the work that is done at the school sites. But for us, during the summer months, working around Mark and his staff, getting support of transportation and how many changes they make to provide transportation for the students that are served by the Roberts Development Center through Robla. And during our break, they even support transportation that we do in partnership with other districts. So I really want to thank you guys very much for that. And yes, we do pay. Finally, I want to just thank the board for their support. Thank you, Ms. Hamilton, for your support at the last the Black History Month program. She was called on at the last minute, as some of you have been called on in the past, to serve as a judge for the essay contest. Thank you very much. And we were able to, I think we were awarded 12 students gift certificates for their essay contest, as well as I want to thank another 10 students that we gave medals to for the Ruby Bridges Award. Superintendent, thank you very much for allowing us to play that role. Thank you to the board. Jacqueline Kendricks, who will moving forward be the visible representative for Roberts as I kind of do other things within Roberts. We're looking at doing some expansion of districts, other parts of the state, and that'll be more my responsibility as that CEO doing that. And Jacqueline, as our education director, will become more, along with Blake Cudworth, who's the site coordinator at Taylor Street, will be your representative for Roberts. Also, and I do apologize, and it may feel a little funny, but I have to leave because we have a parent meeting taking 6 students to South Africa, starting Sunday. I'll be their escort for that particular event. pay for my way going to South Africa too. Just let's put it out there, sir. Just let's let us know. But I'm saying that to let you know I'm gonna have to bow out. Jacqueline has it. Any questions that need to be answered, she can do that. Superintendent and I have a great relationship, so we pretty much talk at least once a week, twice a week, sometime when needed. So again, thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Roberts. Thank you.
I feel like I should move this up because I'm tall and mama, because I'm really tall. So thank you all for giving us the opportunity to present. And we're just going to talk briefly, really quick, about the great things that are happening at Taylor Street in our after-school program. Those are our kiddos. The team at Taylor consists of 50 scholars pretty regularly, 75 plus parents, and then 7 RFDC team members. We have 6 staff that are working directly one-on-one with children, and then Mr. Cudworth to support them. These are the philosophies that you know are of Freedom Schools. We work through literacy, cultural, a learning community, parents who are super, super important, and having high standards for our children and families. Currently, the unique thing about this particular program is that we serve kiddos from across the district. As you can see, we serve Taylor, Robla, Maine, and Bell, and those are the number of scholars that we have enrolled at each one of the sites. They take the buses over after school, and then they come in and they're greeted by staff, and they roll right in. Grades that we serve, you can see 3rd grade is the grade. 3rd grade is apparently the grade to be in after school. And we serve kindergarten all the way through 6th, and that's just a demographic makeup of what it looks like on those sites. The unique thing, the other unique thing, I guess I should say, is that we have the pleasure of working with Ms. Crisp and her staff during the school day. So our staff, we have staff on campus all day to support in some classrooms. It helps for a couple of reasons. It helps with homework help in the afternoon because learning is a little different. It changes consistently. And so it helps our staff be abreast of what kids are actually learning in real time, and as well as the methods that they are learning. It also gives us a relationship with teachers so that teachers see us as in the after school program as a benefit to them. We are in a 1st grade class, a 2nd and 3rd split, and then a 6th grade class. And then in addition, we have 2 staff that facilitate the restorative justice room on campus. That is the room where children that sometimes just need a break or need to just talk through situations or just are having a moment, are able to go and to make things right with whomever they need to make them right with, or even themselves, and then return to the classroom. And these, like I said, these opportunities allow us to just be a better academic support to Ms. Crisp and her team and the scholars. When we started out doing the restorative room, you'll see that there were probably 5 scholars on a daily average that would be in that space that would just need a break out of their classrooms that unfortunately were missing instruction time, to now where we are, we probably have about 2 scholars on average a day that are needing those moments and breaks. And I think that's them learning to be able to use things like I statements, learning to be able to recognize I'm having enough, what do I do in those moments and spaces. And I think also having that face on campus that you might see in the hallway walking by that are like, hey, how's your day going? What's it looking like today? Or somebody kind of meeting you outside your classroom before you go in, like, remember, what's our safe word? What are we working on today? I'm going to check back in with you. Those little things matter for scholars. In the after school day, we don't jump right in once we meet the scholars after school. We always do nutrition. They get their supper, but they have a little free time, right, to do some creative expression. So that could be STEM activities. It could be drawing. It could be coloring. It's knitting. It's all kinds of different things to just allow kids to have a break. They've spent the whole day engaged. Their minds are working on computers, tests, whatever's happening. So this just allows them to kind of just chill. Chill time is all constructive. Chill time is always good. From there, they move into homework time and their academic growth. We really believe it's a crucial part of every scholar's day. Our goal is to get as much homework as we can get done. When kids are picked up at 6, nobody wants to go home and do homework. You got dinner, you got bath, you got quiet time. And when you are struggling with somebody at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. with homework, it just is a difficult time at home. So we work really hard to make sure we're getting homework packets done. As you can see, we had a parent that was like, they were never turning their homework in. And now they submit it on time every Friday, and they're doing better. It's the small wins for students, and even for parents to recognize that. We had another parent that was like, I can't even help my kid with math, but you guys, thank God y'all helped her, because they couldn't figure out regrouping, right? They wanted to carry numbers and subtract, and the kids were like, that's not how you do it, and it was creating a point of contention. And so she was super happy that we were able to kind of step in and be a help in that after school space when the learning was fresh. And then once a week, we do Harambe. Harambe is everybody's favorite part of the day. And it's just a reminder for children with positive affirmations, a way to kind of get your wiggles out, a way to, sing and dance in a constructive manner, in an organized fashion that just allows you to have a good time and to remember, right, that something inside is so strong that you're gonna make it. And our kids need those continual affirmations to remember that no matter what adversity you face, you can still make it, right? There's something in you that's gonna drive you to be successful. Afternoon enrichments, we have dance, we have 3D arts and crafts, and we partner with SMUD to do science and STEM activities on campus. You can see some of the dance and the art. We're also partnered with Noah Sanaa. She is a local poet, a young published poet that we had a creative writing afternoon enrichment. So the kids this past, they did it the first, trimester, August to January. They did a enrichment with her. She came twice a week and volunteered her time, and the kids got to practice creative writing, learn some writing skills, learn how to do poetry, learn how to find a way to express whatever they needed to express, the hard times, the good times, the fun times. And so that was a great opportunity for our kiddos. We will partner with her again this summer during Freedom Schools to offer a creative writing enrichment. Again, it was a big hit. I was shocked how many kids wanted to be able to actually write whatever they wanted versus what they had to. So the children loved it. We hosted Kelvin Truitt. You guys hosted Kelvin Truitt at all of the sites for Black History Month celebration. It was a great time to hear some country music from someone that looks like you, and kids got a chance to dance and sing and enjoy music. Mr. Truitt had a great time. We are hoping to get him out again. And then our students also through our partnership with Kaiser attended a junior clinic camp with De'Aaron Fox. I'm not a Kings fan, so I guess it's kind of cool, right? But the kids absolutely enjoyed themselves. They got to spend an afternoon at the old Arco Arena, one-on-one. But the cool thing about it was that Kaiser was there. They had doctors there. They had folks talking about medical field, the importance of health and wellness, how it all ties together from getting enough rest at the end of the day and to physical activity and exercise. And they encourage students not to be on their devices all day and to have some discipline around how much they use devices and how much you can learn from team sports, as well as just what exercise does for the body. So it was really a great time. Kaiser was really great about taking something that our children love and putting a little bit of meat behind it on why it's important. The last couple of things I think I have on my slides are the parent empowerment dinners. As in the event, one of the original slides, parent engagement and empowerment is extremely important. I always say that we can love on children all we want, but if we're not loving on their families at the same rate, you're not creating sustainable change. And so these are great examples of our partnership with this district on how we invest in our parents and keeping them engaged about what's going on in the community, as long as that's not a fire alarm.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You're good. I'm sorry.
That's the rule. You hear beeping, you got to go. And most recently, we have started doing monthly parent empowerment meetings on the Taylor campus every fourth Thursday of the month. So that's where Mr. Cudworth is tonight. He is with his parents doing a parent empowerment meeting. And those meetings are really great. We bring in different speakers that speak on things from fentanyl use all the way to A through G requirements. How do you protect your children with social media? Things IEPs. How do you use your IEP? How does your IEP work for you and your scholar? Information that parents need to be able to be engaged and feel empowered to be present with their children. That's it. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
How are the monthly power or parent empowerment meetings going? Do you have a lot of attendees or?
We've this will be our second one this month. The first one we had probably 25 parents. We had about half of the parents, about half of the parents attend. So it was a good turnout. It was actually really great.
Do the kids get to go out of the? It looks like they're in the cafeteria. Do they get to continue to?
Yes, ma'am. So the kids get to play outside, especially with the time change, and the parents are having in there. And then one of the things that we do is we provide a take-home dinner. So we partner with an organization that provides take-home dinners. So at the end of the meeting, parents are given a meal that they can just go home and warm up for their family. So the meal serves like a family about, depending on your age of your kid, about 2 to 3 families. So we make sure that we send parents home with 2 or 3 meal kits so that they can just pop something in the microwave or the oven and feed their kiddos and go on with their routine.
That sounds amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My
What are
pleasure.
the things you discussed during the meetings?
We discussed what we do a poll. We did a poll the first session to ask parents, like, what are topics you want to learn about? Some things that we generally cover are what I consider hot topics are your A through G requirements, right? How do you prepare your student to be a student past elementary school, paying attention to those things? We talk about how do you use the iReady? How do you use the Google Classroom? We also have talked about fentanyl use. What do you do if someone in the family has it? How do you use Narcan? We've also had a presentation by SAC PD on cybersecurity. A lot of students have devices. They play games on phones, and parents need to make sure that their phones are secure. But we also talk about having balance in your household. How do you know how much screen time your kids are having? How do you balance that? What are the benefits of it? What are the things that you need to be aware of? So it varies. We try to find relevant topics for parents that parents feel like they need to be the best version of themselves for their kids.
Who does the A to G requirement presentations?
We haven't had one yet, but we will have one. So we'll probably reach out to either the district, you guys, or Twin Rivers District about what those A through G requirements are and how you can prepare your students now for those, to meet those.
Okay. The reason why I asked is because one of the presentations was at the recent conference was by the University of California, and so they actually do have people that can do presentations. Now, I'm not volunteering them, but I'm saying that you can connect with them, and you might even get some UC swag.
Yeah,
they tend to have stuff.
If only if it's UC Davis swag. I can't wear any other swag. When you're an Aggie, that's all there is to it, right? So we'll reach out to you so that you can connect me.
Sure. And you said you do the science event or science with SMUD. What is that? Tell me about that.
So we have a partnership with SMUD where SMUD has a science curriculum for elementary age children. They provide us with all the materials. They come out and they train our team on how to actually implement the projects with the children. And then they give us the materials and we come out and during the regular afternoon enrichment once a week, they'll implement those activities. So SMUD probably comes twice a quarter. And so they will train us on a series of science activities. So they range from gardening, cloud and rain making, all the way to engineering and building, climate control, different things so that children understand how the world around them works.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Any other questions?
Thank you for you and the Robla Family Development Center for everything you do for our district.
Absolutely. You guys are our favorite. Thank you for having us. We love Patty.
Okay. Next, we have professional.
Oh, sorry then.
Okay.
It should be the
Sorry. Next, we have professional learning support teachers, PLST, with Blake Cudworth.
It's me, John Byram.
Why am I not seeing that here? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I click? I did not click. Sorry. Okay, well, take it away.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you for having us tonight. I think it's been about 2 years since we last presented to the board, so we're excited to be here and to show you how we're working with teachers. It says professional learning and support teacher. The best acronym or a synonym I can give for you is like an instructional coach. So our job is to work with teachers in hopes of improving student learning. Here's our team. Looks pretty similar to the team that you saw 2 years ago. My colleagues are here, or at least 2 out of 3 of them are with me. I have Lindsay Clark and Shannon Cannon. Alicia Manes isn't with us tonight because she's at Glenwood. They're doing their multicultural day event, so she's there with her 3rd grade class. Our team is a little bit different this year because we have 4 full-time PLSTs, and Lindsay and myself have been out of the classroom full-time this year supporting teachers as much as possible. Shannon and Alicia have slightly different situations. Shannon's been subbing as an RSP teacher over at Maine, but she is now out and has dove right into supporting teachers. So we have some updated information for you here. Alicia is teaching 3rd grade at DLI, and so she's with her class full-time. So today I'm going to go ahead and give you some information about who we're supporting, how we're supporting them, and break down our work. Most of the data here is the work that Lindsay and myself have been doing because we've been out of the classroom most of the time this year. So we decided to break it down by teacher first. We've worked with 53 of the 95 teachers in the district. We classified teachers as TK through 6 teachers, intervention, EL support teachers, SDC, and the RSP teachers. There are some teachers we don't typically work with, PE and art. We do support from time to time, but our work with them is a little bit different than the normal classroom teacher. We've worked with 86% of the new teachers who have been here 1 to 2 years. And so we really like this presentation because it helps us also find gaps in who we still need to support. So we still have another 1/3 of the year to raise those numbers as high as possible. Supporting by site. So this graph kind of shows which school sites we're working with and how many of the teachers at each site we are working with. Taylor and Bell stand out the most. Taylor has a lot of new staff, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade. And so Lindsay and myself spend a lot of time there supporting those teachers and making sure that they are ready to go each day. Bell gets a lot of support as well as a GLAD trained school, and so that's a lot of curriculum heavy support. We do demo lessons with GLAD, so there's a lot of support there. Glenwood, Maine, and Robla, pretty even across the board with our support. By grade level, I really like this slide, even though it might look a little eye-opening. You can see that we have a lot of support in the 3rd through 6th grade teachers, and that's mainly due to the fact because Lindsay and myself have a lot of expertise in the 3rd through 6th grade curriculum and those grade levels. That's where our teaching experience is, and that's where we have historically been supporting teachers. Shannon and Alicia, there are experts in the TK through 2nd grade, and since they've been in classrooms, they haven't been out and able to support nearly as much. Lindsay and myself have tried to hit as many of those TK through 2nd grade teachers as possible. We just don't have as much expertise in that area. Next, we're going to be looking at the level of experience of the teachers we support. So as we said earlier, we hit a lot of those 0 to 2 year teachers. 47% of the people we work with are those new teachers. 17% are those 3 to 5 year teachers, which is somewhat surprising to people at first glance. But those are the teachers that we worked with a lot those last couple years, and now they're ready to go and they're trying stuff and they're like, I got it. Give me a chance to try it. And we have a nice 36% of teachers who have been here for over 6 years. People who are ready to push their instruction and try to find new ways to reach students. One of the most popular ways we work with teachers is by curriculum and planning support. We look at student data, we reflect on student scores and student work to make sure that we are finding areas of strength and growth. We plan, we help them break down the new curriculum, the science curriculum, the wonders curriculum, and their math curriculum to make sure that they are ready to go every day and providing the best possible instruction. Another super popular way we support teachers is by doing demonstration lessons. Lindsay, myself, Shannon, we go into their classroom, we model lessons. It could be lesson structure, it could be management techniques, it could be what a science lesson looked like, what to do with your kids during a reading lesson. We go into the classroom with that teacher, with those students, so they can see it with their own kids. We do a lot of reflection and debrief afterwards, what went well, what didn't go well, as a way to make sure we're pushing ourselves at every chance. We often do observations and guided observations. Observations are sort of the traditional teacher coaching. You sit and you watch a teacher teach and you provide feedback. We also do guided observations where we take a teacher to go see somebody else teach. We used to talk a lot about the pockets of excellence here at Robla, and so we are able to go with the teacher, watch them, or help them watch somebody who's really good at their job, and we talk through the teaching we see with them, breaking down everything that we see that teacher does. All those things that you maybe take for granted, all the management techniques, we make sure we want to point out to teachers so that they can take what they see and bring it into their own classroom. Similarly, we do a lot of assessment support, modeling those different assessments we have to give. Sometimes we cover classrooms because those kindergarten, first grade, second grade classes have a lot of one-on-one assessments where they have to pull kids. Lindsay and I will go in, we'll teach the class while the teacher sits outside the room and is polling students. It's really impactful for that classroom teacher to do those one-on-one assessments so that they can see exactly what their students know and don't know. Lindsay and I are able to provide high quality instruction while the teacher's sitting outside the room polling and doing those assessments. We look for patterns and we help them break down their data and figure out what exactly their students need next. This is a huge one for our newer teachers. We provide a ton of classroom management support. So we've done 91 classroom management meetings so far this year. We talk about individual student plans, we talk about table group plans, we talk about whole class management plans and ways to set up their routines and procedures to make the day go as smoothly as possible and to support them with managing a room full of 24 or 30 students. Something new we've been adding in is working as closely with principals as we can. We run or help run PLC meetings on Tuesdays now, excuse me. We help support with staff meeting agendas. Just recently, we ran a phonics instruction for the intermediate grades over at Taylor Street with Miss Crisp, really helping to break down for their 3rd through 6th grade teachers what a phonics lesson looks like, because our data shows that our intermediate students need phonics instruction too. We've done counting collections over at Robla. Ms. Cannon was there and able to help us do a math counting collections professional development. And we do plenty of GLAD planning over at Bell to help make sure that those strategies are being implemented in the classroom. We've also started something brand new this year called lesson studies over at Taylor Street. Their staff decided that they needed some extra support with their math instruction. So we came up with the core components of a math lesson and provided some professional development. And now their teachers are getting out of their classrooms and watching each other teach, looking for these core components in their math lessons, reflecting on the instruction that they're having, and having conversations about ways to improve their math instruction. Bell's getting ready to start their round, but instead of focused on math, it's going to be on comprehension strategies during reading instruction. Lastly, something new we've also started this year is the idea of a pop-up professional development where the PLSTs run a small cohort with teachers on a topic that they're interested. So we surveyed the staff, and we found that writing was a huge area that they would like support with. So we had a targeted cohort, and we got 17 of the 25 first year to 5th year teachers to attend a writing cohort. And we looked at student work samples. We talked about ways to improve our writing lessons. We initially thought this would be like a 2-session thing that we would do, but the group has self-selected that they would like to keep going and keep reflecting on the writing instruction that they're doing. So we're setting up another session here in April and one in May. And that's kind of it for us. Do you guys have any questions?
On average, how long do you work with like the teachers in each category? Is it one day? Do you think it's like a week over the course of the school year?
That's a great question. So on the planning with the curriculum, sometimes we have ongoing, especially with those newer teachers, as they're moving through the curriculum, they're unfamiliar with what's coming. So we help them backwards map and we do ongoing support. Classroom management is often an ongoing support as well as we move through the year. We're coming up on a tough time of the year after spring break, where we reset our routines and we make sure that expectations stay high as we finish up the year, because students get a little wiggly here after spring break. Yeah, absolutely. So that's another one that tends to be an ongoing. Demonstration lessons tend to be a little more one-off. We might demo a lesson structure in math, or we might demo some things that they can do in reading. Let's see, guided observations are also a one-off. We do have a mixture of, sometimes we walk in and provide assessment support, and that's what that teacher needs. And sometimes we provide more consistent support depending on the needs of that teacher.
Okay.
So I don't know that I answered your question as specifically as you wanted.
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
I think you gave me a general idea. It's not like you can really give me 20 hours
Yeah.
per teacher. So I appreciate that.
Exactly.
And I appreciate both of you stepping into the classroom to help out when needed. Has them not being able to be a part of this hindered your ability?
It makes it tough. We all have areas of expertise. I work primarily with the intermediate 5th and 6th grade teachers because that's where I've taught and that's where my experience lies. 1st grade, TK, kinder, 2nd grade, we have some experience in there, but it's just not our area of expertise. So with Shannon back here and able to support teachers, she's already working with some of those people who weren't. She's back.
Okay.
And she's just recently, 7 days. She's not counting or anything. She's been able to work with some of those teachers that Lindsay and I haven't yet been able to reach because she has that area of expertise.
Okay. Thank you very much.
What do you need?
What do I need? Oh,
Open-ended question.
You have. What do I need? Yeah, people is really great. As many people as possible. Right now we have 4, and as many, we had 5 that first year after COVID. We had 1 for each school site, and that felt like a way to make sure we were hitting everybody. But there's a lot of new staff, and I feel like we're doing the best job we can to get them to stay, right, and to support them, because not other school districts have this. So we need as many people as you can, and then we just need time, and those are things that are hard to get sometimes. Yes.
Question. Yep, I appreciate you guys help and support to the teachers. But I also like to ask a question. When you work with a teacher, do you work what you think they need, or they request to you what they are lacking, or they?
It's another good question. I would answer that by saying sometimes we don't know what we need, right? Or we don't know what we don't know. So oftentimes they'll ask about one thing, and then when we get talking, we ask a lot of probing questions, which then helps them determine or discover that they need help with maybe some other things in order to get to the thing that, so that if they want, for example, if they want to improve their math instruction, they'll ask, how do I improve my math instruction? And then we'll ask a million questions about, well, what is your routine and how are you teaching? And what do you use to check for understanding? And what are you using during your main lesson? Are you using manipulatives? And they'll go, oh. And then that allows us to help support them and help kind of guide them with the type of questions we ask.
Do you ever have principals of sites reach out to you about particular teachers? And what they may need education in or more help in?
So The program is set up to be voluntary and teacher led. So we try to keep a line between the principals and us, so that it doesn't feel like the principal, or we don't want the image of us running to the principal and telling them we're not evaluative. And so principals will often sit with the teacher and say, hey, I've noticed this. I think you could use some support from a PLST. Is there one that you think would be best for you? And depending on the grade level, usually that's sort of a tag in for one of us. But we try to match our personality with the teacher as much as possible.
Okay. I was just asking because, you know, if I look at myself, I'm perfect. But my husband
Sure.
would tell you something
Sure.
really different.
And we principals are really great. We have a good relationship with the five of them, and so we feel like they, you know, as long as they talk with the teacher first, so it doesn't feel like people are talking. We don't want the image of we're talking behind your back, right?
I
Exactly.
completely agree with that. I just wanted to make sure that if a newer teacher wasn't realizing
Yes.
they weren't.
Yeah, the principals meet with them, and then they bring one of us in, and that's our
That's
protocol
what I
for.
was trying to get at.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
If something is missing, is there a way to make sure they know what they need?
Most of the newer teachers will reach out to us right away because teaching is stressful and hard, and so getting as much support as you can.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I just share that we're really fortunate to have this team because we have a lot of new teachers, and this is an investment, an example of investment we have in supporting all our teachers, our new teachers, as well as our veterans. But I will share, Taylor has gotten a little bit of love, extra love, because they have the most new teachers in the district. But I did share at Cabinet the phenomenal phonics for intermediate grades PD that they presented at Taylor. I participated. Lindsay can verify that I participated in the activity. So don't be surprised if the other principals asks you to give that PD at their sites as well. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
Comments there? Okay, thank you. Okay. Expanded Learning Program update for Sacramento Start with Joyce Swinger Johnson, Katie Hauser, and Joanne Marson.
Well, good evening, and thank you for having us. Unfortunately, Joanne is out of the office this week, ill, so we're going to cover the best we can for her today. I'm Katie Hauser. I'm the Recreation Manager with the City of Sacramento in the Youth Parks and Community Enrichment Department. And I support a variety of recreation program areas, including our Expanded Learning Team, which runs programs including 4th R, which is licensed childcare, summer ACEs, summer camps, some teen ACEs programs, and of course, Sacramento Start. So the Start team is part of a large staff and team of youth practitioners that runs the programs citywide. We have a very unique relationship with Robla. We work with a lot of partners in a lot of school districts. The City of Sacramento is actually the grant holder on behalf of the district with the CEE for the ACEs program. And we have a really great relationship with this district, just very collaborative. And there's really a lot of teamwork to make sure that we're providing the best services for the youth and families in this district. And we're really, really proud of that. And we're just thankful for this continued relationship. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Joyce. And then if you have any questions for either of us, we're available.
All right, like she said, Joanne is out. She is our resident expert, but we will do the best we can. So I'm not sure if you know, but START stands for Students Today Achieving Results for Tomorrow. It is a little acronym. It was started in 2002 by Daryl Steinberg. We have been in many districts, and currently Robla is our district that we're. Oh, sorry, if you can hear me.
It's for online viewers.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I don't like the mic. It's intimidating. So we're here in Robla District. We serve all 5 of your elementary schools here within the district. And like Katie said, we do our grant funding through ACEs, through CDE. And we also have incorporated the ELOP funding, which has allowed us to grow at each of our schools. And so again, our ACEs is the after school education and safety grant funds that are there for K through 9th. We do serve TK at 2 of your schools, and then the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program grant, again, has allowed us to kind of increase our funding to allow additional students and then to provide care during intersession, so spring break and summer engagement. So our program quality assessment goals, within our program, we do a lot of evaluations. We have a couple different surveys like Tell Me Like It Is, parent surveys that kind of really helps engage to figure out what we want to be our goals and our quality assessment. And so our safety and supportive environment are some of our goals that are part of our quality assessment. Providing a safe environment that supports all participants, development, social, emotional, making sure that we allow for physical needs. Community involvement and engagement. The program will provide and design activities that reflect active, meaningful, and engaging learning methods that promote and collaborate expanded student horizons. Youth participation. We want to know what they're interested in, because if we do an activity and nobody's interested, well, that's really not great. So we really ask for a lot of youth and what they're interested in doing. And then the programs promote and programming activities developed for the youth rather than for the youth. So again, this kind of goes a little bit more over our program goals and our pillars that we want to see in our program. Program components, so after school, right, they've been doing academics all day, so after they get out of school, we allow them to have some free time running around doing different activities. And then we have snack, so work really great with the nutritional services and providing them a snack. And then after they kind of have some of the energy out and they've have been nourished, then we kind of break up and we do academic assistance with them. They'll go to a club that we have with them. I think that might have stopped, but we'll do clubs with them. And kind of throughout this, have little slides of different things that we have done. You notice that this is a picture of Glenwood at the Running Barrette, and then the other one was a field trip that we did. So again, trying to get those kids out and educating them, not just inside at the school, but outside, and kind of expanding, what they're doing. We try to make sure that we collaborate on what the school pillars are. So food literacy, bully prevention, science, wellness, cultural, responsive SEL. Those are the cores through Robla. We really want to make sure in everything that we do, we're incorporating those into our lesson plans. What we're doing with the kids is really super important to us. So part of our 23-24 achievements, lights on after school, that is something that is done nationwide. And so one of our things that we do is work with the Sacramento Food Bank and providing food boxes to the families. We always have some type of celebration at each one of the sites. So maybe it's a dance party, a glow party, whatever the kids are interested in doing. We try to really make sure we make it a special day for them. Buy food. Spring camp and summer camps. So again, with our ELOP funding, we're able to branch out and do more camps. Last year during our spring camp, we had 123, and during our summer, we had 247 enrolled. This year for our spring break camp, it is next week for the next 2 weeks at Maine and Glenwood. We have 225 or so students enrolled. So about half and half at each one of our locations. They during those spring break camps and the summer camps, again, they get to do a lot of opportunities of going on special field trips. This fall, we went to, we did fall break, but we get to go out. We went to Rockland Rock Quarry. They get to do fun things like bowling or rebounders, things that maybe they might not be able to do just in general. We allow those opportunities for them to do that. Next week, we have one of our enrichment providers, which is Little Scholars. They're going to come in, and first half of their day, they're doing, it's called Superhero. And so it's really investing in the students and kind of like it's an SEL workshop, like what makes them a superhero. What are they good at? Just they're there from 9 to 12. Each school has 6 teachers, so they'll break up. So every class TKs and Ks will be combined together, but every class will have a teacher from our outside enrichment provider along with our own staff to have that kind of special curriculum during that time. And then they'll do activities after that. And then Fridays we have field trips. We are going bowling this time, and they are going to Rebounders. Not sure what the outside environment will look like, so we try to stick indoors the best we can during this time. We always do a backpack school or a backpack giveaway in August. And so first year we did it, we had 235. Last year we had 255. They'll come through at Main in the circle, and we'll give them like some, we definitely do food boxes for every family. So however many food boxes they want, 1, 2, 3, 5. They name it, we'll give them the food boxes. We have 7-Eleven come out there. They are a partner. They'll give them coupons. They'll give them pizza while we have pizza available. And then we'll do backpacks, and backpacks are stuffed with school supplies. So it is open to any Robla family that wants to swing by and get backpacks for their students so that they can have a successful start to the school year. We did a virtual family night back in January, and so that is something that we're going to do again this year. Don't have a date for that. And then bring your friend. So on Valentine's Day, we kind of celebrated by Bring a Friend Day. So at each one of the school sites, if they are not have a friend that is not enrolled in our program, we encourage them to invite a friend to kind of spend the day with us, kind of see what the activities are that we're doing to kind of, get them interested in what we do. And then we partnered with the district doing Valentine's for Veterans. Through Valentine's for Veterans program, we made cards. The students made cards, and then we delivered them to the district, and in turn went to the veterans. So, and then we collaborate with outside agencies. So through our ELOP funding, we're able to provide additional enrichment providers. So Little Scholars is our current one that we have. Another one is Sis2B, and they focus on girl empowerment. Food literacy is something that we collaborate with the district and getting the kids more educated about food, healthy choices, what are some good options. Girl Scouts, they have curriculum that we do at each one of the locations. They have a Girl Scout team. Our Glenwood group in September went on a camping trip, and so that's super fun for them. And then we do literacy tutoring. It used to be called Book Nook, and I can't remember what it's currently called, but they'll have their Chromebooks, and after school they'll have tutoring with United Way for the students to help them do a one-on-one with tutoring. And we also have a variety of people that we have worked with in the past. We just compiled our RFPs for next year. For our next year enrichment providers. And so we'll focus on sports. We'll focus on cultural dance is one of them that they chose. They focus on Little Scholars will be coming back. And then they focused on music. So looking forward to some new activities that we'll be presenting next year to them. Each one of our schools also has an academic enrichment teacher. We are working through, not all of them are onboarded yet, but they have a school teacher that's there during the daytime to help them with student needs, what they're needing, what they're lacking. They evaluate the program, evaluate the students. And again, at each one of our sites, we have a full-time coordinator, so they're there during the day to help support the teacher, the staff, whatever we might need, so we have a great working relationship. Currently, this is last month's numbers, they changed. Currently at Robla, we have 91 students. Glenwood, we have 176. Bell, we have 120. Maine, 121. Taylor, 99. And so since this, they have increased for March. And those are a mix of our ACEs and ELOP students that are in there. And then our future plans is just to continue working to kind of increase our enrollment at all of the sites. So we don't want to leave any child left behind. We want to make sure if they want to get enrolled that we get them enrolled with no wait list. Continue with our enrichment providers. Again, Patty's gone, but Patty has been a great resource to us. Erica and part of nutritional services. Nicole, super helpful in getting our enrichment providers cleared with their prints. And so, yeah, those are kind of our goals moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I have a question. This might be silly, but so Taylor has START and they have Roberts Family Development. They have both.
And Helen Institute.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Helen Institute. Yes, at all of our schools.
Thanks.
You said there were 255 backpacks for 23, 24. Was that enough? Was it too many? Not enough?
We stay out there till 6 o'clock. And so anybody who wanted to come by, we still had more left over.
And is there anybody we can get those to others? I mean,
Yeah, so our backpacks, once we're done, they go to the schools. And so if anybody at the school needed one, our coordinators have extra backpacks that they can give out to people.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. And the food boxes. You said you were giving like 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
Tell me about these boxes.
So they come from the food bank and they include like a pasta, canned vegetable, right? Shelf stable food that they can have for their family. So each box is about for 2 to 4 students, but they can have as many boxes that they want. And so we had, oh my gosh, was it 3 pallets delivered? And we had food left over. And so that was the same thing. We shared the boxes back out with the sites. So if anybody in their program needed more food, they were able to have that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
To be part of.
Yeah, thank you. Right, thanks.
Okay, that was our last presentation. We'll move on to action items. See, 4A, the first item, adopt revised board policy 5030, student wellness. I'll entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved. Second.
We are updating a portion of the wellness policy, focusing on waste reduction strategies. Ms. Lee is actually submitting an application, a dishwasher application, and it would make our application stronger if we solidified the process that we already do. And the focus is on single-use food serviceware. We already do it. This is just formalizing the process in our wellness policy.
Thank you. Questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Or passes unanimously, sorry. B. Item B. Approve CSBA Governance Consulting Services contract. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
This is our contract with CSBA. Luann Rivera will be facilitating our governance workshop on May 4th. So once you approve, look out for an email tomorrow.
Questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Item C. Avid Summer Institute Staff Development for Glenwood ES. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Glenwood would like to use their site funds to provide professional development opportunity for their teachers. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. So when we hear Bell using GLAD strategies, AVID is a program, and Dr. Rodriguez is very familiar with it, and I am familiar with it as well. It's usually at the secondary level, but they have brought programs down to the elementary level. So I encouraged her to participate in the Sacramento conference versus the San Diego. So she has a big team that she'd like to take this summer.
Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. That concludes the action items. We'll move on to section 5, board member requests for future agenda items and reports. Trustee Devine?
Nothing at this time.
Trustee Cardona?
Nothing this time.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Nothing at this time.
And I have nothing. And with that, this meeting is closed. Thank you for attending.